In Buddhism, in modern day Buddhism, we tend to talk about something called engaged Buddhism. I don't know whether you have heard of this, the term engaged Buddhism. What do you mean by engaged Buddhism? Because as we always say, theory without practice is blind. There are a lot of theorists. There are lots of theories as well. But there has to be, or there should be, practical theories. Buddha has always said, you have to live according to the Dhamma, walk and talk. Walk and talk. Walk according to the talk. Yatavadi tatakar, you say. What you say should be implemented. What you are implementing should be said, should be mentioned. That sort of thing. Now when it comes to engaged Buddhism, hope everybody seems to be quite fine, okay, good, okay, right? Now engaged Buddhism is something like that, which means the principles or the teachings mentioned in certain Buddhist teachings, suttas and many things, many discourses, how we can implement them. Now we are talking about engaged Buddhism and peacefulness and metta and karuna when one part of the world is being burned. Right now, in this moment. There are a lot of people being killed. Even in this moment. Now we are having a discussion here. When even in this moment, there is this, the ongoing war. Small kids are being brutally killed. In a situation like this, and that highlights the fact that how important it is to practically apply Buddhist teachings. Buddha always says, Charata bhikkave charika. Bahujana hitaya, bahujana sukhaya, loka anukampai, which means you have to preach the Dhamma for the betterment of all the living beings in the world. Doesn't matter whether you are Buddhist or not. Buddha was not a Buddhist. We say, we label, we think. But if you define the term, what Buddha is, it's about enlightenment, awakening, the all-knowing one. That's it. Now you have heard of this, the metta and karuna. What is metta and what is karuna? What is the difference between these two? No need to think about, this stuff and slides and everything. That is the protocol. That is the protocol. No problem. Because we are always having this discussion. What is the difference between metta and karuna? What's the difference? In English you say loving kindness and compassion. What's the difference? Yeah. What is the verb? Compassion is a verb. And loving kindness is what? It's a psychological state actually. Metta is psychological. Karuna in the sense, this is loving kindness, this is compassion. This is the action, psychological and also the action, attitude and also behavior, something like that. So, you're not engaged in this if this is not fueled by this. Are you spreading loving kindness? Have you ever been engaged in this, the metta meditation, loving kindness meditation? Have you? Have you? What were the difficulties that you came across when you're trying to spread loving kindness? Were there any difficulties? Were there any difficulties? Yes or no? Yes? Yes, tell me. Tell me. What are the difficulties? your loving kindness is blocked by certain, or it is hindered by certain facts. Am I making sense? Yes or no? Agree? Yes? What are they? Exactly. Good. Good. The more you try to love, or the more you try to spread loving kindness, what will happen then? That blockage, what will happen? Do you think it gets melted or it gets stronger? I'm asking your experience, nothing else. Getting stronger. It's not melted. It's not melted. Melted. Melting. No. Yes, yes, yes. Which means our loving kindness is hindered. Is that so? Sometimes, if you are asked to spread loving kindness to so-called enemies, I don't know whether you got enemies. I don't know. Have you got enemies? Tell me. Have you got enemies? No need to hide. This is not a place, where we are hiding things. No. We are open. What do you think? Enemies? No enemies. When a question is asked out of blue, we don't know what to say. What do you think? Enemies? Yes. Enemy. Okay. If you don't mind, can you just elaborate?
I doubt myself.
Uh-huh.
I belittle myself. I hate the things I do. So sometimes things that I want to achieve is actually stop.
Okay. Okay, right. Any other thing? Sorry? Narcissistic. Oh, yeah. Okay. Which means, is it blocked by external individuals or is it blocked by yourself? Now, for example, during the Buddha's period, Buddha was, we'll say, Devadatta, Devadatta, kept on harassing the Buddha. If your theory is applied to that, which means Buddha should have been, yes, angry because of external factor. Am I making sense? Which means, if you have participated in my previous lectures, discussions, right? I kept on saying how important it is to be focused on yourself. You remember? I said, it's this, nothing else. Now, if you say that you get angry because of others, can it be justified through Buddhism? You always block yourself. You are blocked by yourself all the time, which means even this, the loving kindness, even this, the compassion, it is not blocked by external factors or external things. You yourself block it. This is not what I'm saying. This is not what I'm saying. This is what the Buddhist teachings do explain. Sabba papa sakaranang kusala supasampada sachitta pariyo dapanang etang buddhanusasanang. All the Buddhist teachings can be summed up into that particular stanza. Let me explain, let me elaborate on that. Sabba papa sakaranang in the sense, freeing yourself, free yourself from all the unwholesome deeds and actions. And the purification of your mind is the Buddha's teaching. Sabba papas akaranang. Sabba papas in the sense all the unwholesome deeds. Kusala supasampada in the sense. Kusala in the sense wholesome actions. Wholesome thoughts which refer to metta, karuna, mudita, upeksha. If you translate loving kindness, compassion, and yes, altruistic joy and equanimity. Those are the skills. Because we have to make an attempt to cultivate those 4 sublime states. Are you with me? Because there are hindrances all the time. Yes or no? Yes or no? When you try to spread loving kindness, there are hindrances. When you tend to be engaged in compassion, there are hindrances. Altruistic joy. You tend to be happy when someone is also happy. When someone is sad, of course, you can be sad too. But when someone is happy, can you also be happy? That is the thing. When someone has achieved something that you haven't got, can you be happy? That is altruistic joy. Kusala, those are the wholesome things, those are the wholesome actions and thoughts. Sachitta pariyodapanang, which means purification of your mind. Purifying. Purifying in the sense, purification in the sense, what should be purified? That is, which is not something pure. Yes. You have to purify something which is not pure. Yes. Which means that nature, suppose that you are free from all the thoughts now. Last time you were engaged in certain small meditations. At that time, nothing comes to your mind. That state, think about that state. Suddenly it is clouded. Thoughts keep coming. Do you understand what I say? But if you are not aware of the fact that my mind is clouded by these unwholesome thoughts, you go with them. That is where thoughts become actions. Now the world, one part of the world is being burned, like I said. That is an action or outcome of a thought. Nothing else. Yes or no? Exactly. Who experienced the thought? Who had that thought? And that thought has become an action. In social psychology, we talk about discrimination and prejudice. Discrimination. You kick people away. You kill people. You hit people, assault people. That is the action. But the action is fueled by what? Thoughts. Thoughts. You cannot chase away thoughts. You cannot chase away thoughts. But the awareness can be there. That is what we've been talking about so far in my previous discussions too. Now, metta. When you spread love and kindness, there are blockages. That's okay. Because it happens. Even without your awareness, they keep coming. That's okay. That's okay. Now, action in the sense, thought becomes an action. In Buddhism, you say, Chetanaham bhikkave kammang vadami. It's chetana, thought, kammang vadami, becomes actions. Kayena vachaya manasa, through your body, through your words and actions. Agree? Now I'm gradually coming to this, the social issues. Now Buddha says, Anto jata bahi jata jatai jadita bhaja, which means you have tangles, tangles, knots. Internal knots. Anto jata, internal knots. You don't have internal knots? Don't you have problems? Yes? Yes or no? No problems? Oh, yeah. Then I should stop and I should give you the opportunity to talk. Right? Is that so? Internal knots. Yes or no? He said that you can carry a heavy bag and walk. But if you have a problem, you can't actually walk 2 steps. Internal knots. Psychological. External knots. Anto jata, jata in the sense knot. Bahi jata, external knots. What do you mean by these external knots? Society. Social knots. And Buddha say, jataya jatita pacha, which means there are knots, internal, external, and also there are knots on each and every knot. Knots and knots and knots. Finally, everything becomes knots. So, we are individuals like that. Suffering. Is that so? If you remember, in my previous discussion, I mentioned about Paul Gilbert. And he says that there are 3 important systems in our lives. You remember? This is, I guess, all of you remember. This is it. You remember? This is the drive system, which means you need to function. You want to function. Right? And this function is blocked by certain threats. Threats. Right? Yes or no? Threats. What sort of threats? Illnesses can be threats. Not only illnesses. There are man-made threats too. What can you say about people in Syria, Israel? What can you say? What can you say about their motivation? Fear. Fear, which means their threat system. This is the threat system. You all have. Just peep onto your life. Your life. In your life, do you have threat system? Yes or no? Yes. Can you see the threats? What are the threats? What are the threats? Aging. Aging is a threat. Yes. True. But in the meantime, since we tend to focus on this, the social issues, you expect to be loved and respected by others. You expect to be respected and accepted by others. Yes or no? Sense of belonging. When you do not have sense of belonging, now of course most of you are employed, I guess. Yeah? So, at least you have experience. Now, when you go to a place where you are working or your family, you have that sense of belonging. You are a part of this family. But if something happens, if someone is rejecting you, what could be your response? Yes. That is the threat system. That is the threat system. Are you with me? Bear me. Please. Okay. And on top of everything, there is another Another system which is applicable to what we are talking here, that is the soothing system. Soothing. Now, you have heard of, since I have been working with a lot of patients, depressed, anxious patients. And I strongly believe in what Carl Rogers says. Rogers says, now you don't have to, when you are dealing with a patient or a person who has mentally fallen, who is unstable, you don't have to do extraordinary things. No extraordinary things. You don't have to do extraordinary things. There are few things that you need to focus on. One is empathy. You remember Bhattacharya's story. Bhattacharya, if you don't know, Bhattacharya, during the Buddha's period, Bhattacharya, she lost all the family members in a day. She got bewildered. She was out of mind. She was out of mind. And she was running naked. Because she did not know what to do. Don't we experience such things in our lives? When you lose loved ones? Yes or no? Yes? Right? What is the worst experience that you have faced in your life? Grief. Yes. In that situation, how did you cope up? You yourself managed? Or you had a shoulder to cry on? Support system. Have you ever heard of something called postpartum psychosis? Experienced by mothers just after the delivery. You know what is the main cause? Lack of social support. And they kill their own babies sometimes, And we just accuse the mother. We just accuse the mother since the mother has attempted something like that. But no one is talking about what she was undergoing before the delivery. Lack of social support. Psychologically speaking, you just project that, the stress to the baby. See? Social support. Now think about a scenario. I remember in Sri Lanka, ragging was taking place in universities. I remember when I was a university student, I had been ragged and I was hospitalized for 2 weeks, couple of weeks. And after that, I did not even feel like going to university. There was another fellow coming from this, the rural area. He left the university because he could not. Do you understand? When you talk about happiness, there are 3 aspects. Happiness, yourself, being happy, happiness from others, and others' happiness. 3 things. Your own happiness, the actions that you do. Happiness given by others, shown by others. And happiness of others. Those are the 3 aspects. Now, when you had that, a threatening period, how did you cope up? How? Yesterday, when I was at the market, the bag was full of goods. And I have to go to Sri Lanka, people are expecting things and I have to get things. And suddenly, the bag was dropped. And things are everywhere. No one actually staring at that. Nobody. Nobody, stared at that. No one was really concerned. No one was really concerned. It could be the nature. That's okay. I'm not, just, criticizing or nothing. Day before yesterday, I had a chat with a monkey, and he said he witnessed that there was this the guy who met with an accident by the side of the road, and no one actually approached. No one actually approached. In a situation like this, we are talking about engaged Buddhism here in Buddhist Maha Vihara. Mahatma Gandhi says something really important. Be the change you want to see in the world. Gandhi says, right? Be the change you want to see in the world. Be the change. First you change. First you change. That you want to see in the world. First you don't try to change. Have you heard of this, the butterfly effect? I would have talked about butterfly effect. Butterfly effect? Yes. Butterfly effect. Wings. Effect. Yeah, effect. What is it? It is said that, even an earthquake could take place because of the movings of butterflies. Even this, the simplest things can result in huge things. Mangroves, by this, you see, by the side of the sea, even tsunami can be hindered by mangroves. Right? Simple things. Now, we are talking about majors. No, nothing. That's why I say, be focused. Focus on yourself. Atta hi attano nato kohinato parosya, Buddha says. And Buddha also say, attanang upamankatva. Upamankatva in the sense, you just compare yourself with others. If someone is hurt by someone, suppose that you place yourself there. You place yourself there. And how would that person feel? If I am going to blame someone, you just put yourself there first. You just go there. Get on to the other person's shoes. See? Now the change should take place here. Now there is this, the war. The war started in one's mind. Hatred. Yes or no? Hatred. Now that has been implemented. Lack of empathy. When Patachara lost all her family members, she went to the Buddha. Are you with me? Because mind is always ruminating. Okay? With me? Yes? Okay, good. Right? Because I just make all the effort not to impress me. But I want to express. Do you understand what I say? Word and actions, it's the only way to express. Not to impress people. Buddha never tried to impress. Buddha all the time tried to express. Buddhism is there, popular Buddhism is there all around the world to impress people. No. It's not the fact. It's not the fact. When Patachara lost all the family members, she went to the Buddha. Buddha said one particular, and she was running naked. Out of my ummattaka. Don't we experience certain things like that in our lives? Yes, yes, we do. Don't we experience certain, out of mind states? Yes, yes, we do. Yes, because we are suffering, yeah. In a situation like that, there has to be a person who can realize you, who can understand you, like the Buddha accepted Patachara. Buddha said one particular thing, just one particular thing, that is empathy. Sympathy and empathy are two different things. Huh? You know. Buddha always has always emphasized on not sympathy, empathy, emotional intelligence. Buddha said one particular thing. Sister, be conscious. Sister, be conscious. That's all she said. That's all she said. Nothing else. Sister, be conscious. Empathy. Do you see the difference between empathy and sympathy? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is the difference? What is the difference between these two? And sympathy, yeah. What is the difference?
Sympathy is something that you feel sorry for the other person.
Mm-hmm.
You feel with that person.
Yeah. When someone is hurt, you can realize, you can understand what the person is undergoing. That sort of thing. Empathy. It's a part of emotional intelligence, not intelligence. In psychology, we talk about 3H concept. Recently, I had a chat with a doctor at University of Malaya, a Muslim doctor, said, there are 3 things that we tend to focus on, but the world is lacking of this 3H in the sense heart, head, hand. Head refers to knowledge. Hand refers to skills. He says, we have knowledge. We have skills. What happens to the heart? Is that so? IQ? AI? This? Attitudes? EQ? Correct? What happens to that? Buddha has not emphasized on this, especially. Buddha has emphasized on this. Heart. Loving kindness. Metta. Not about PhDs in Buddhism. Professorship in Buddhism. No. Buddha has never ever said so. No, nothing. Do you understand? Empathy. And Rogers says, these things should be implemented if you want to put the person onto the right track. All of us have same capacity, as he says, but we tend to be out of track in certain situations. Then how do you put the person onto the track? Simple things, yeah. Can we teach empathy? That's a very good question. It's an individual effort. Empathy is not there if metta is not there. Yeah? What do you think? Can it be taught? That is I like these, the discussions. I need those questions. What do you think? Can it be? Anyway, Buddha's teachings are centered to this. We need to practice Yatavadi Tathakare, that's it. Yes, there are blockages, true. True. Not by advising people, but by setting an example. Once again, it's about yourself. Are you with me? Are you with me? Because doing lectures won't help at all. That won't help. But if I set an example, and you all see, and that is more influential than wasting thousands of words. Are you with me? Action. But action does not happen without thoughts. I mentioned about one chakra. There are some fake sort of mentalities, but outside people, they think that it's a very good action. But you only know that is fake. You do it for your own betterment. You only know. Any questions? Vanchaka Dharma. For example, you say that I'm earning money, I'm earning black money, you'll say, for example. If I'm earning black money and I want to highlight the fact that I want people to know that, I'm such a devotee and I spend money on behalf of Sasana and I do a lot of things, I help to build statues and temples and many more, and then I just contribute my money. People see your action, but you only know what is behind the curtain. That is called in Buddhism Vanchaka Dharma. Fake. That is fake. There are a lot of people like that in the world. There are a lot of people. He doesn't gain anything at the end of the day, right? He doesn't gain at the end. Buddhism, from a Buddhist point of view, doesn't gain anything at the end of the day. Yes. His conscience knows what he has done. He knows what he has done. But nobody would know. But he knows. Can you go against your heart? Have you ever done something against your heart? Maybe. Maybe you dab. Since then, your heart keeps troubling you. Even time after, a period after. Yes or no? It's just like this, the black box in an aeroplane. Your conscience. Right, okay. UPR, Buddha says, not Buddha, Roger says, now if you want put on the right track, there is another thing. Empathy is one thing. The other one is unconditional positive regard, which means you don't label people. Being labeled, right? Being labeled based upon, different factors like the region, religion, caste, class, many things as such. Buddha says in Vasetta Sutta, there can be differences among animals. There can be differences among trees. But how should we see, or how can we say that there is difference among, or there are differences among human beings? No differences. Equal. But here we see, how many sectors can we see? Regionally, we just divide ourselves, yes or no? Then, the ongoing war. How can we talk about Buddhism then, Buddhist teachings? Because the Buddha has already said these things in the text. Text is not enough. Where are the actions? Where are the actions? No actions. Even the simplest things here. UPR, no labeling. When someone from another religion is seated by the side of you, I'm not saying to you, but see, what sort of thoughts that come to your mind? I'm not talking about you, but just an example. That judgment, where does it come from? So can we call ourselves Buddhist then? Do you understand what I say? Buddha has never ever said so. Culture, certain cultural teachings have done the damage. Not the teaching. It's just like, decoction, medicine. And a pot. You put all the medicine in a pot and you just boil. What is seen in the pot is just like the doctrinal facts, teachings. The pot is just like the culture. The more you boil, what will happen to the medicine? So you don't get anything. We just make the pot beautiful. We tend to focus on the pot only, not the ingredient. Yeah, it is true that you have to have a pot to get decoction out of it. True. Yes. But never ever forget about the essence of it. The medicine, not the pot. There can be different pots, but don't forget the medicinal fact, the teachings, what the Buddha has said is for all of us. It's for all of us. Right? And genuineness. Fake and genuineness. The says Yatavadi Tathagati. Genuinely. If I'm doing this discussion for sake of making myself impressive, that is not genuineness. If you have come here just because you have to come, that is not genuineness. You helped someone since others have noticed, since you want others to notice, that is not genuineness. It comes within. You truly want to help someone. There can be blockages too, yes. I do explain. I do know. Yes. Your metta, loving kindness, is blocked by anger. True. Judgment. True. Notice. When you notice, that essence remains unchanged. Do you understand what I say? When you put the light on, there can be objects, but the light remains unchanged. spreading loving kindness is there. There are blockages. See the blockage. See what the blockage is. No problem. Need not to have any grudges. It's okay. It's okay. On the other hand, Buddha has mentioned how important it is to use language in a proper way. In psychology, this is called reciprocity. Reciprocity. Now, do you like when someone is talking to you rudely? Do you like? No? You don't like. Of course you don't like. You don't want it to happen. Buddha says, when you talk to someone, use soft words. Tender, soft words. Words can do miracles. Words can do miracles. Soft, nila, kanna sukha. So that you can, kanna in the sense, ears, sukha, pleasant. It should be pleasant to your ears. Kanna sukha. Hadayangama. There you go, heart. Your language should address the heart of the other person. Heart and pori, polite words. Even someone is, suppose that, barking at you, right? When someone is barking at you, if you tend to stick to these things, what will happen to his speed of verbal actions? Does it get, heightened? It goes down. Does it go down? Now you remember Angulimala's story? You remember Angulimala's story? Angulimala was a serial killer. It is said that he had almost killed 1,000 people. And suddenly he saw the Buddha. Now the Buddha is there, but the Angulimala kept running. Angulimala said, stop. You stop. Buddha said, I have already stopped, you stop. Now see, that statement, I have already stopped, now you stop. Sometimes we all are running like Angulimalas. We need to stop ourselves and see what we are doing and how we think. Thinking and action go hand in hand. Anything? You want to ask anything? Any question? Anything? Anything? There are certain other things also. I'm not going to elaborate on that. I think this is more than enough. I have said what the Buddha has said. I said not what Dr. Ashoke wanted to say. I said what the Buddha has said. Agree? Yes. Now here, there would be 20, 30 people here. Now you all have different mental worlds. Nobody knows what is going on other person's mental world. But there is one thing for sure. All are suffering. What? That is for sure. That is for sure. Do you understand? Which means, if you say that you are not suffering, please tell us the secret. Meditation. Why do you meditate? Why do you meditate? To escape from what? What does past bring? Is it satisfactory? Yes. You want to forget it. Fast is troublesome. Suffering. Yes, agree. Now, this mind and body, if you just step outside invisibly, if you see this mind and body, you got my point, I suppose. I'm telling you a very tricky thing. If you just step outside objectively, not subjectively, and then look at this mind and body, this fellow, this person, you see the suffering that the person is undergoing at the moment. Am I making sense? Am I making sense? Not subjectively, but objectively. Should I repeat? Should I? If you step outside this, whatever it is, and if you neutrally see, no glasses, nothing, no ideologies, no colors, purely, if you see this, you will see how this person is suffering. I'm talking about that dimension just for the time being. That dimension is not subjective. Please be with me, bear with me. That dimension is not subjective. It's objective, whatever it is. What should I say? What sort of language should I say? We'll say try. Try to be with it as long as possible. This is the screen. Whatever is manifested is not the screen. Screen is not what you see here. Be the screen. It may appear, there may be different things appearing on. That screen does not have any color. Even in this moment, you can go to that thing, whatever it is. Even Rupert Spira is mentioning over this nice way. In Buddhism, you talk about something called durato and parato. Durato in the sense, something which is away from you, distance. Parato, something belongs to others. You see yourself, durato and parato. Got it? Yes. Yes. Got it. Excellent. And you are not your thought, you are not your emotions, and blah, blah, blah. If it is hard for you to understand, that's okay. Be aware. That's more than enough. Awareness. Be aware. Be the light. Be the light. Whatever the light is blocked, notice that it is there. Congruence. Yeah, congruence in the sense like two selves, which means he says that there are two selves inside of us. Roger says one is the person who I am at the moment. Here, who I want to be. When these two circles are not overlapped, you experience depression, and that is called incongruence. You expect something, but you cannot, and this circle is going there, and it is not merged, overlapped. You experience incongruence, depression. But Buddha says something else. In my previous discussion I mentioned, right? There are three factors. Even Buddha says, society, Chakravarti Sihanada Sutta, and also Kutadanta Sutta says, the society has to be well flourished, financial background has to be balanced. If not, people start looting others. First, we need to fulfill our basic needs. Hunger. That's why you say hungry man is always an angry man. First, we need to address that. The basic needs. Who fulfills? The government. Buddha has emphasized on that. Yes, the society has to be free from all the difficulties. Biopsychosocial facts. Biological, psychological, social. This is what psychology has said. If you are depressed, focus on this aspect. Biology, your psychology, and your society has to be balanced. Even Buddha said. Even though there can be certain illnesses, but still Buddha has emphasized on the psychological aspect. Mano Bhangama Dhamma. Awareness is more important than anything else. Doesn't matter whether you have other illnesses also. Illnesses are possible. Who I am, the one I am here, and the one I want to be in the future, circle. If it is overlap, you are happy. If it is not, imbalanced. A psychological thing, not a Buddhist thing. Right. Okay, I guess with that, we have to conclude a 5 discussion series. Mr. Tilak, thank you for inviting me. It's been a pleasure to be with you all, and especially everything that you have done. And I did my level best to express things. And hope you would have got at least something out of this, and that makes my day, if you have. Thank you, Mr. Tilak, and thanks a lot. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. I'm leaving on 20th.
Yeah, so we have come to the end of this evening's sharing. And also, this will be, as I mentioned, Dr. Ashoke's last discussion with us. And hopefully we'll bring him back. I just messaged him a few days ago. He hasn't seen many places in Malaysia yet, so that's the carrot I'm dangling. So to bring him back next year, hopefully. And I'm sure you all appreciated, I think some of you have come from most of his talks here, the last 5 talks. and you had taken back something each time with regards to things like we spoke about things like depression and suicide and pressures in life, and now today we're talking about social issues. And so as Doctor mentioned, I hope you were able to at least take back something from each of these talks, and you appreciate his talk. Anyway, we'll put his talks online very soon once we finish editing it. And so before we end, we'd like to put our palms together and thank Doctor for all the time he spent with us and also the trouble he's taken to prepare the slides and not use them. And I hope you have a very pleasant stay and also a very pleasant journey back to home in Sri Lanka. And we look forward to seeing you again, Doctor. Thank you. Sadhu.